Hi, I'm Annie Nash with the Unleashed Advisors team here at eXp Realty. Today, I'm here with Craig Nash, and we're going to talk to you about new construction and why you should think about or purchase new construction right now in 2024. Welcome, Craig.
Thank you.
Let's jump right in.
All right.
So what do you see as the main reason somebody should consider new construction home in 2024?
Well, new construction home is a brand new home, so that's kind of the main reason why people are attracted to new construction is it's just brand new. Right now, there's a lot of incentives going on for new construction homes, whether they're an interest rate buy down or if they're just giving something like in closing cost or something like that. It's kind of all over the board. It depends on which builder you're purchasing from. So it's kind of, it changes pretty much by week and by house in some cases in the community if they want to really sell the house, and those incentives get pretty good. So
let's talk a little bit about those incentives. When you're looking at new construction or when somebody's looking at new construction, there's a lot of, hey, we've got these for you thrown around. Some of those can be a lower interest rate, closing costs that are paid by the builder. Can you talk to us about what does that mean when somebody says, hey, you purchase this home, you get a 4.99% and these closing costs?
yeah.
What's that look like?
So let's just talk the interest rate. So what has happened is that a lot of the national builders have actually went out and procured loans for a long period of time where they can actually offer that interest rate at a lower rate than what you see that's in the open market right now. Mm-hmm. And it might be a point difference, point and a quarter difference. So, if the interest rates are 7%, they're offering something 5.99, mm-hmm. Kind of situation. That's a great incentive to have. And sometimes it comes already included in it. And sometimes it might be, hey, we're giving you, $15,000 in closing costs to buy down that rate. Mm-hmm. And that's a little different than actually just having that rate. So you really have to understand what you're getting into to understand if it's just a rate or if you're using closing costs to buy the rate down. So those are the big kind of interest rate things that are going on. The other thing is that they give what is called like a flex cash or whatever it is to use however you want to use, whether you want to buy blinds, buy a refrigerator with whatever that cash is, or just use it towards the purchase of the house. Mm-hmm. So what do you see in that kind of situation? I mean, it's all over the board too right now. So
yeah. So it really does depend on the neighborhood you're in, the builder you're talking to.
And sometimes the house within that neighborhood.
Right. So depending on like we were talking about the builders, sometimes a house that has been finished or is closer to being finished, but it hasn't sold yet, that might have more incentives on it. So some of the builders, for example, a D.R. Horton, 1 week might offer a 5.99%. The next week, it might be something lower because that house has been sitting there, or there's something about the lot. It might be on the first house in the neighborhood or something that makes it less desirable or harder to sell, and they want to get it sold. One of the other
what would be one of those things that would make it less desirable?
So some of the things that would make a property harder to sell is going to be, are there power lines in the backyard? Is there a power pole that's right in the middle of the backyard? Is it the first house when you pull in the neighborhood, right on a busy road? Stuff like that. Those houses are going to be the first ones to be built, and they're going to be the first ones that they try to sell, so they can get them sold. But they're also, those are the ones that are likely to have maybe some more incentives on it. And those incentives look different.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is sometimes it might be you get closing costs. Sometimes you might get a lower interest rate. But the other thing you might get is your realtor may get a bonus because if they're able to sell that home. And what that means for a buyer is not all resales are paying the full compensation to the buyer's agent. And so for the buyer, their agent doesn't have to, they may not have to come out of pocket to pay the compensation to the buyer's agent.
Right.
And I think that can be a huge thing also.
Yeah, it's just, when it comes to new construction, you really have to do your research on far as on what each builder is offering, all the way down to what are they offering on each house.
Yeah, one of the things I found, one community that I was in, I think it's been 2 weeks now. They were offering up to $20,000 in closing costs, and they were advertising an interest rate of like 5.5%. I think maybe it was less than 6. But when my clients submitted their offer, or we started really crunching the numbers, that interest rate, they were using all of the closing costs to buy that interest rate down. So the interest rate, what they were told, interest rate starts at 8%, and you have to buy it all the way down to the 6. I think maybe it was 6%. So that wasn't the same as if we went to one of the other builders and they were already giving you a 5.99% interest rate, plus you were getting $10,000 in closing costs. So they weren't getting as many in closing costs, but that interest rate was already purchased down. So when you actually did all the math,
Yeah.
you really have to be careful when you're looking at and listening to the incentives. So is there anything else with incentives? So financially speaking, when you're looking at new construction versus a resale, why someone would choose a new construction over resale?
Well, so if the interest rate works out in your favor and all that stuff, so you might be able to afford a little more house as far as, if you're looking at like a $275,000 resale house versus a $300,000 new purchase house, new construction house. If that interest rate is, 7.5% versus a 5.99, the payment's going to be about the same, as far as, that 275 to the 300.
Yeah.
You might be able to afford a $300,000 house versus a 275 in a resale. And, it depends on the rate. So
that was really important when you are taking your clients to look at different neighborhoods. And so we've got their pre-approval. We know the lender has said for resale, they can purchase 275. Like we're running those numbers. But when you go into new construction and you're talking to them, make sure to have your clients run all the numbers to get down to what that monthly payment is. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be your monthly payment.
Yeah.
What does that look like? So you can really compare apples to apples. I know we talk about apples to apples or oranges to oranges a lot, but really getting that clarity is important. I know we've had some people that we've worked with where, well, let's go look at new construction because you might be able to afford a little more, and they didn't quite understand those full range of numbers.
Right.
And so when I'm a spreadsheet girl, put it in a spreadsheet and you can see, then it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
And so it can be an advantage for new construction because somebody can go get a brand new home that might be a little bit bigger, just new, and they get a lower interest or lower monthly payment.
So what does a brand new home come with?
One of my favorite things is most brand new homes will come with a warranty. And not only just a 1-year warranty, and it depends. Each builder is different. A custom builder might have something that's a little bit different. But generally speaking, you'll have a 1-year workmanship warranty. So basically any of the finishes and stuff like that, nail pops, something happens with the flooring, whatever, those kinds of things. I might joke that it's a bumper-to-bumper warranty on the house. It's not quite that inclusive, but thinking about your car, it's a bumper-to-bumper warranty for 1 year on the house. In the second year, you'll have a warranty that continues. So it's anything behind the walls. Generally, that's your second year. So you think your mechanical systems, your plumbing systems, electrical, stuff like that. So that's all covered already. And then generally you have a 10-year structural warranty. Right. So if there's anything structurally that happens to the home, because those things are going to be they're going to be a more latent error if there's a structural problem with the home. You may not notice your foundation have a significant crack. That's generally not going to happen in the first year. It's going to happen 3 or 4 years down the road as loads are there. Those are that's one of the things that I really like about new construction is you get that peace of mind.
Get the new car smell in the new house. So you get the new house smell.
Exactly. So when you're buying a new home, a new construction home, why do you think that the warranty is that big of a deal?
Well, it's just because the house has never been lived in. It's never had furniture in it. It's never had anybody walking in it. Never had the plumbing being used every day, never had any of that stuff being used on a daily basis. So things are going to naturally happen just because they do. Concrete cracks, stuff happens. Nail pops happen. They all happen. It's just the nature of the game. A house is going to, when people start living in it, moving around in it, and being there every day and having furniture, the house is going to react to that.
Yeah, it's kind
it's good to have the 1 year warranty just to have all that stuff taken care of, and then it's also good to have the 2 year beyond that and the stuff in the systems, and then structurally sound, for 10 years, that's real important.
Yeah.
So when the house starts to settle and do all that stuff, then you'll know what needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was described kind of like what you said, but really nobody's lived in it, so it hasn't had a chance to kind of get into its space where the flooring has been used and run around, and you got kids running around, or dogs, or cats, or just a single person living by themselves in there. But the furniture in place and being used every day, it's never had that, so it's going to kind of take some time for it to settle in.
Yeah.
And that's why that's really important. With a resale, though, you may not get that because you might not really need it because it's already been...
It's already been well loved. So
yes.
So, I mean, I love resale houses, because you know what you're getting. If you buy a 10, 15-year-old home, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And you know how it's going to react to furniture and all that stuff and being lived in. So, and, it's going to be mature trees around it, all that stuff around it. I've never seen a developer that has liked a tree. So,
yeah, I've never seen a developer that saw a tree and didn't want to cut down.
Yeah, very much so. But usually, when new construction neighborhoods, they're literally just level everything in it. And then they start, lot by lot. And then they do like landscaping and stuff like that. But it takes a while for the trees to mature in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So that's a disadvantage of new construction, is that there's really no shade.
Yeah, that's true. There's no shade. But so one of the things for us, because we've lived in a brand new house before, one of the advantages that I found, especially for those of you that are relocating to the upstate, if you're coming in and you're looking for where to live, I highly recommend going to new construction. And here's why. When we moved in new construction, we were like house number 8 out of 400. And so we were the 8th family to move in, and everybody that we were meeting was from out of town. So we met just about everybody in that neighborhood, and being new to the community, not knowing anybody, for me, that was huge because we instantly had like 60 friends because we got to know just about everybody. Yeah. Where when we've moved into a resale neighborhood, everybody's friendly, but it's not like that instant bond that you get with. So if you're a people person and you want to meet a lot of people moving into new construction, at least my experience has been, you get to meet a lot of people and you get to meet your neighbors because we're all in the same situation.
Yeah, it's a new neighborhood, so nobody's had those established friendships for 20 years.
Yeah. So I really liked that. Mm-hmm. That was something that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So what are the disadvantages of new construction?
I think one of the disadvantages of new construction is going to be when you're moving into a neighborhood that, unless it's completely done basically, and you're the last house that's being built, you're going to be dealing with construction traffic. So the concrete trucks are going to be placing foundations and footers and maybe sidewalks or whatever. You're going to deal with construction. You're going to hear the hammers going when they're putting up a roof or the rest of the home. You're going to have dust, especially on these.
You're going to have a lot of dust.
You're going to have a lot of dust, but especially a lot of the new houses, some of the cool colors are the really deep blacks or the dark blues. We just sold one this weekend that is a deep, deep brown. It's beautiful, but the dust shows. Yeah, and so those are going to have to be washed. And the beautiful white houses, if you're new to the upstate and you're not from the South, we have red clay. Red clay is everywhere. And your white, beautiful house is probably going to show some red clay, and it's going to have to be washed off. if you're in a new construction neighborhood. Once it's established, you won't have that, but you're going to have to deal with dust being everywhere, construction, all kinds of stuff going on. It'll be worth it. You just got to have some patience. I think that's your favorite word, patience.
It is one of my favorite words, patience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, when we were in the number eight house in the neighborhood, it was interesting to watch the construction going on, just because you seen some funny stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So
It did not follow OSHA. It was like, what is happening? I got to go back and let me go back in the kitchen. Let's go watch a movie because I can't do this.
So it's just, you know, you'll see, you know, construction workers and all that stuff. And, you know, so they like to play music and do all that stuff. So it's just part of what new construction is.
Yeah.
So
It's good though.
yeah.
The other good thing about it for us was if we ran into an issue or had a challenge, I knew the project manager. I'd be like, hey, we got this thing. Oh, and they'd come fix it. So there was somebody there in the neighborhood all the time.
Yeah.
Or we needed whatever, they were there. So that was cool. I like that.
Yeah. So if you're a new person looking for a house and you see a new construction neighborhood, what are your feelings about talking to the agent on duty there?
I'm so glad you asked. So this is going to get into your buyer agency, your agency agreement or your agency relationship. The agent on duty at a new construction neighborhood is representing the builder. They are not there to represent you as a buyer. It is important that you work with a buyer's agent. Even if you have bought and sold 10 different houses and you know the process, it is important for you to be represented. Yes, that agent on duty can help you. They can show you the homes. They can tell you all about, and they are going to be the one that's most knowledgeable about that builder, what they have to offer, the product that's in the neighborhood, or even if there's a product in another neighborhood that's by that same builder that might fit your needs better. What they won't do is they're not there to represent you. It is important for you to have representation through the process. Not that they're going to take advantage of you. I'm more of a, hey, we're all going to try to take care of each other, but they're there to represent the builder, and they're there to make sure that the builder's interests are the ones that are taken care of, not yours. So I highly recommend, sure, go through them, go look at them, bring your agent with you, or have your agent register you with that neighborhood so that when you go in there, your agent is, because you've signed an agreement with that agent that you're working with to represent you as the buyer. Part of your agreement is the compensation that person is paid. And you want to make sure that you're registered or that they have registered you with those new construction neighborhoods because that's important.
Well, it's not just about the compensation.
No, but
it's really about making sure that you are getting the best situation for you.
Yeah.
And having a realtor on your side to make sure that all that stuff is taken care of for you, whether it be, you know, understanding what the incentives are that you're getting to understanding to make sure that, you know, everything like the blue tape tours and making sure all the repairs are done properly and just getting you in touch with people outside of the builder to take a look at that product.
Yeah.
So it's important to do that because, you know, the agent that's representing the builder is representing the builder.
It's just like on a resale, if you were to call the listing agent, the listing agent is the one that's there to represent the seller. And same thing with new construction. The person that's sitting at the open house or the model home, they're there to represent the builder. Yep. I'm sure they're nice people. Well, they are very nice people. We've worked with plenty of them.
Yeah.
But they're alliances with the builder.
Yeah.
And so making sure that you have someone that's there to fight for you, that's important as well.
Very much so. So, and make sure you have your needs met.
Yeah.
In every way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Even beyond the sell of the house. So.
Yeah.
So that's probably pretty big item for me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So one of the other things, not every builder has incentives. but there are still benefits to new construction. We're working with one of the builders up in the Chesney area, actually all over Spartanburg County. But specifically, one of the advantages in that area, especially with smaller builders, is you may have the ability to make some changes to, as the home is being built, you may have the ability to make some changes to some areas of the home, or if it can add outbuildings like a detached garage, or and you've got the ability to talk directly to that builder sometimes and change things.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And they're easy to work with usually.
Yeah.
And they do a great job. I mean, the one we represent is Adrian B. Holmes, and that dude is awesome. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I put him above just about, my top builder in the upstate. So
Yeah.
his product is amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I was thinking of another one we recently worked with a buyer on, and it was a smaller builder in the upstate. But the product was really, really nice. It's not something that you would have found in one of the national builders because it was in the price point under $250, but like the finishes were really nice. I think every cabinet door and drawer had soft close. I think every closet was like not just the wire racks, but it was the solid wood. It was really nice. Really nice finishes. And that's not something that you would find in a big neighborhood, but it's a custom builder.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because like if you go to like the big, tract builders and stuff like that, they have maybe 5-6 homes that they're putting in those neighborhoods, and they're just going one after another, same design. They might change the finishes one way or other. Yeah,
but it's going to be like, hey, here's the A, B, or C package.
Yes.
You can pick which one you want.
Yeah. And probably 9 times out of 10, if they're already built, you don't have a chance to change anything in the house.
Right. Yeah.
So
COVID changed a lot of that.
Yeah. So it's just, boom, 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 boom. This is what the product is. You either like it or you don't. So
yeah. You can take it or you can change it after closing.
After closing. Yeah.
So
those are the, you're getting builder grade quality carpet, builder grade quality shelving, and, the wire shelving and that kind of stuff in the closets. And
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So there's those things that, again, have your realtor take you through them and show you all this stuff. So,
yeah. I think my biggest piece of advice, though, would be when you're looking at all of the incentives, really break it down so that you know and you can really compare apples to apples. Because I think for most buyers, especially if you're financing it, you're trying to get to a certain monthly payment.
Right.
And so being able to know, oh, this one gives me $20,000 in closing costs, but I get this interest rate on this one, or you don't get any incentives like that. It's just a lower price point. Knowing what that looks like for you and the home that's right for you, I think that's very important.
Yeah. And don't get us wrong. We're not just new construction junkies. No, we're not. So I like selling resales. I like selling new construction. I like selling it all. So it just is what is best for the client and what they're looking for, and understanding exactly what that client is wanting and needing, and then going out there and solving their problem for them. So, well, thank you for joining us today. I'm Craig Nash, and this is Annie Nash. And as always, look out, world. We are unleashed.